we're back. Today's Saturday, December 13th, Ukraine update. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, viewers. This is part 2 of the stream, and let's get right into it, right back into the news.
Yes. Where do you want to take us this time?
James. Thank you, James, our special guest, for being here today.
Yeah, we dragged him into part 2 because, hey, if you're going to stay up too late for your own damn good, you might as well go full 2 feet in, right, man?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, but it's great to have you back, man. It's really cool. It's been too long since we had you on the show.
Really. And then, I've been working on it. It just, as of, let's just say, given Azov's history, I think they are rightfully concerned about their media image.
Yeah.
Took a while to sort of build trust, present a plan, just got to keep pushing with positivity, and we're making it happen. I think it's really necessary. So.
Well, I think we know how to play ball in that area proper, so I'm sure everything will work out and nobody will be giving you too much shit in the background.
Honestly, I'm cool. I will even answer troll comments because I have good answers and I will crush them.
Oh, bring on the trolls then. Bring on the trolls.
That's the best way to cook
Unleash the troll.
Yeah. We want the trolls.
And Russia has done.
The bots have been going wild recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed. They're like working overtime.
I find it especially in the comments, Slavie. I see so many of these. Oh, your channel is just, and your content is so like these generic AI comments that are going around. It's very weird.
Well, my channel has a special in-house troll. I think it's a Serbian dude. He kind of went away for a bit, and he came back recently. So that's been a lot of fun. But as I would say, if you don't have trolls, then you're not doing something. Like, if you have trolls, you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need our little one back. We've had a couple lately, and come on back, Piggy. Come on.
Like a piggy.
So, yes, where do you want to continue on from, Slavie?
Yeah, well, let's talk about Zelensky's second plot twist of the week that he threw that nobody was expecting. So this past week, Zelensky pulled off another plot twist, and Washington and Moscow weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
They demanded elections as a weapon. Zelensky accepted and turned it back on them. So the U.S. and Russia have both been pressuring Ukraine to hold elections during wartime. Trump accused Zelensky of avoiding democracy and called him a dictator without elections.
Gerrymandering districts of voting. Sorry, I've got a real thing going on here. Keep going, Slavie. Sorry.
Well, this week, Zelensky responded by saying he's ready to hold elections within 16 to 90 days. If Ukraine receives concrete security guarantees from the U.S. and its allies.
Yeah.
Russia's response was, immediately it dismissed the idea because it wasn't ready. And then Russia called it a ploy and rejecting any conditions that would make elections secure.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Russia doesn't have time to fuck up the elections.
Yeah.
So they rejected.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole call for elections is crazy when you think of Ukraine's, constitution, whatever, it's definitely during times of martial law, you don't do that. But to me, it's an obvious, because we got influence in place and ready, have elections, we're going to mess with them. Like it's so painfully obvious that it's the wrong idea and unnecessary, and it takes the focus away from where and what it should be on. It's ridiculous.
Well, Ukrainians themselves will tell you, we should not try to have elections during a war, because if you got people lined up, around the block to try and vote, guess what the Russians are going to bomb?
Yeah.
It's totally obvious. I mean, it's not to say that Ukrainians are not like almost every responsible and concerned citizen in any democracy, pissed off at their politicians and disparaging of their government and mistrustful. Generally, that's a good idea to be such, okay? But they know that having elections right now would be super dumb, I mean, this is why Ukrainians, when they have a problem with their current it's not even about Zelensky. It was about Yermak. Every Ukrainian I've ever talked to was like, Yermak bad, Yermak bad. Way back 2019, even people were talking about this to me. I don't fully understand all of that, okay? But it seems to have played itself out, and people were saying, oh my gosh, it's going to destabilize. It hasn't destabilized anything, because the country, the stability of the country is not based on who the president is, okay? It's based on the will of the people.
Yeah.
That's the important piece. And, I would argue so what most Ukrainians have told me is the issue with elections is not about Zelensky. Everybody says, oh, Zelensky, we need to. No, it's about the legislature, the Verkhovna Rada. That's the Ukrainian Congress, okay? It's called the Verkhovna Rada. And they basically barely have a quorum, okay? Because when the war started, some of those legislators were part of the pro-Russian party. Some of them left. Those who were actively pro-Russian were banned, and those are the ones who haven't had the election. And a lot of Ukrainians tell me, and I personally have no knowledge of this and no opinion on it either. But what Ukrainians tell me is that, hey, those politicians they're stale. They should have been term limited out. That we should have voted them out by now. Just like in other countries. When you have politicians in the same position for a long period of time, there's corruption starts to seep in. And Ukraine has that ongoing problem with. I just released my video, the first video I've put out in 6 months or something. It was specifically about corruption, the inheritance of corruption from the Soviet Union and the Russian Empire in Ukraine, and how that plays out in daily life. And this is another example. What my wife tells me, you don't. What's she say? She doesn't trust any politician. She says you don't become a politician to represent people. You do it to get rich. And that's generally that's the Ukrainian attitude. That's the level of trust. I think that's a healthy level of mistrust for your politicians. Keep them at that.
You have a civic duty to question, to be involved, not to you don't have to question to a point of insanity and conspiracy, but this is what we're supposed to do.
The other thing I would just say is that a lot of Americans, because we have Democrats and Republicans, we think politically in very black and white terms, liberal, conservative. It's this is switching here politically. It's like switching from black and white TV to color. Okay. The political parties are all over the place. Communist parties are conservative.
Awesome.
I did.
Commander, did you lose us?
Oh.
I think he's just having a little connection glitch here. He's coming back.
Okay. I lost sound?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
I lost sound from everybody.
Yeah, flip back around, Commander.
I can hear you now.
Okay. There we go.
You didn't miss much. It was just me blabbing, really. So to me, it's like politics here. This is one big reason why I can't really comment myself with opinions about politics here, because it's like a whirlwind of just. As an American, it's totally confusing to me. Maybe someday I'll understand it, but I don't. So I profess ignorance, other than what Ukrainians tell me. So all these things, these big changes are really a sign of a healthy electorate
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Can I just throw something in while we're on this? I wouldn't hesitate to guess that if Ukraine just said, "Oh yeah, okay, fine, fuck you," and just threw elections together and had them, Zelensky would just win, and we would just continue on. I don't think that your average Canadian or Ukrainian, sorry, is going to rock the boat in this moment in time. That's ridiculous.
But the flip side of that is that if he actually tried to give away any territory, he would literally be out on his ear in about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Real quick. Yeah.
It would be like
a very fast election.
Yeah, it'd be like a rock concert, and he'd be body surfed right down the road, man. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yep.
So Trump said something stupid. That's every minute. But he said 82% of Ukrainians want to stop fighting, and they want a peace deal. And it's actually the opposite. 82% of Ukrainians want to keep fighting. So,
but I mean, every Ukrainian I talk to wants peace, but not at the loss of territory, not without resolution of the war crimes. You know, when people have said, "Oh, we're going to make peace in Ukraine," they all assumed that all those other pieces went along with that, because no justice, no peace.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
when I say peace deal, it's just such a overused phrase now that peace deal actually sounds negative to me. When I say just and lasting peace, that's the real peace right there. But a peace deal, just making a deal, it's just the American.
All this is the hyped up news cycles in not only America but also in European countries. Okay, I hear this from my American friends and family who are really not quite paying attention to what's going on. They know I'm here, but that's about it. And Europeans as well, who even my fellow European soldiers, who they're too busy fighting on the front lines to really pay attention to the news and what's happening. Okay. And then they just pop up and they hear in their home country's media, "Oh, there's going to be a peace deal." And they make it sound like it's happening tomorrow.
Right.
And they're like, what's going on? And no, it's not. It's just part of the hyped up news cycle. That's all it is.
So
it was also, I think, a mismatch between what one side means by peace and what the other side means by peace. To some, peace, and the Orange God King being an example, to some, peace is simply we stop the fighting. It's nothing about restoring the situation to one which is equitable for the people who've been attacked and such.
Exactly.
And
I've had American friends, not friends. I've had Americans say to me, "Oh, we just have to stop the killing." That it's such an ignorant statement.
Yeah. Because you want to stop the killing? Tell Russia to go the fuck home. Done.
Yeah. And
also, when Trump says it, he actually saying that he's trying to save Russian soldiers. If you really think about it, he said, "I just want to stop the killing." He's trying to protect Russian soldiers. He feels bad that Russian soldiers are dying.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about Ukrainian civilians, what Putin is doing.
Putin doesn't even care about the Russian soldiers.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to save. Every time he says to stop the killing, too many people are dying, he means Russian soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, think about what that means, though. That actually means that Trump cares about human life.
Yeah.
on some level. So, hey, that's a plus.
His own, maybe.
What kind of person you are if you care about an orc
He has
life?
the ability to. So, my
orcs are not humans.
Yeah.
No, they are not.
This is like an example how Russia controls the narrative, because all of these peace talks, they're directed at Ukraine. Like Ukraine started this war and Ukraine has to stop it. like Ukraine, will
Yeah.
you accept peace? And every time when Ukraine says no, it's not because they don't want peace, but you're offering occupation of Ukrainian territories, which is gonna have Russian control over there. That means torture. That means mass graves again. Everything we've seen in all these occupied territories before, it's just a continuation of war. But
they want the FSB church in there and the whole 9 yards. Like, it's just a load of absolute rubbish.
Look at the number of peace conferences that have been put together where the US goes, Russia goes, maybe the UK goes. You'll notice the conspicuous absence of Ukraine being invited to participate. You can't have a peace plan without getting both sides actually involved. But they know that, you know, as long as they keep Ukraine out, they can dictate an agenda that Ukraine's never going to approve, which means you can then turn around and say, well, it's Ukraine that's keeping the war going.
Exactly. And then the problem is you have two bozos trying to work a land deal, which has nothing to do with a peace treaty.
You didn't know this is just a big real estate venture. You didn't know that, Slavie?
It's ridiculous. How can you get two real estate guys? Well, one is real estate, the other one's God knows what, fucking Jared Kushner, trying to make a peace treaty, but it's a land deal. Like, these are not diplomats. This is the biggest war.
Real estate developers being elevated to
solve.
diplomat status.
I think the issue, it's actually an issue of pronunciation. I think they're mispronouncing what they don't want a peace treaty, they want a peace diets treaty.
You know what? When I say peace deal now, there you go, peace deal.
That sounds very
You know what that sounds like.
PBX treaty.
No, piz diets. That's it's a Ukrainian word that I hear a lot.
Oh, really?
I bet.
Maybe I misheard it. What I heard was PBX, which is a kind of explosive.
Oh yeah, well that's the kind of treaty that we're gonna have. And Johnny, you know, you actually made a really good point. Unfortunately, the end result of this is that Ukraine does have to end it. In fact, and we are ending it the hard way for Russia. They're going to have no oil infrastructure. They're going to have no shadow fleet, and they're going to have no men left in their country, you know, who have all their limbs at least. So, you know, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of this peace deal, can't say it straight now. Ukraine submits a revised 20-point counter proposal to the U.S. peace plan, demanding security guarantees and a referendum. With elections and frontline wins strengthening his hand, Zelensky handed the U.S. a revised 20-point peace framework proposing a demilitarized free economic zone in Donbass as a compromise on territorial control, while insisting on robust security guarantees and a public referendum before any concessions. The counterproposal delivered on December 11th includes 3 parts: ending the war, with both sides withdrawing from a Donbass buffer zone; post-war European security architecture with reliable guarantees for Ukraine; and reconstruction funded partly by Russian reparations. Zelensky confirmed U.S. pushes for Ukraine to cede controlled parts of Donetsk, but emphasized no deal without guarantees against reinvasion. He floated a referendum on territorial provisions to give Ukrainians a voice, rejecting unilateral cessions. Russia rejected, of course, key elements, including territorial freezes along current lines, oversight of Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which is a big story we'll get into as well, and any Western security guarantees, with Lavrov demanding full Ukrainian withdrawal from Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson Oblast. The plan removes NATO membership bans, but proposes EU accession by 2027. Putin called the original 28-point U.S. draft a negotiation basis, but not final, while Peskov dismissed Zelensky's ceasefire idea as a deception to rearm Ukraine. Talks remain stalled, with Trump reportedly setting a Christmas deadline for agreement, frustrating Zelensky, who seeks clarity on sensitive issues like Donbas control amid reports of U.S. frustration with both sides. So that was my run through.
There's something really interesting buried in that, which is that a ceasefire will be used by Ukraine to strengthen their position, which is one of the reasons they're rejecting it.
Right.
Now, arguably, pre-war, Russia had the bigger population base, bigger military economy, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that they're now expressing concern that a ceasefire would be used by Ukraine to strengthen their position doesn't say, but is in fact an admission that Russia can't use that same ceasefire period to rebuild its forces to a similar level.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, all of this peace, I mean, they've been wrangling around with this peace thing.
Oh, yeah.
Peace treaty, this for years. And it is just a show. It's just all that Russia is using it for is to try and gain some sort of advantage on the battlefield to somehow delay support coming to Ukraine in any fashion that they can. But whatever they can do, it's just another form of warfare. That's all it is.
Well, which is as good a time as any to mention the whole recently released national security strategy here, which very curiously makes almost no mention of Russia. The only thing it's mentioned is with regards to, them being in a conflict with Ukraine, and then blames that conflict continuing on Europe, on the European liberal elites who control the centrist governments in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So our security strategy is basically saying our NATO allies are our biggest enemy.
Yeah.
Right? It's taking 70 plus years of U.S. post-World War II strategic strategy, dumping it into trash bin and taking one of the Orange God King's gilded turds and putting it on a pedestal and saying, "Oh, look, this is the greatest thing ever."
Yeah.
Oh, man, Commander McMillan, the one thing that I really miss here in Ukraine, probably more than anything else in my 6 years living here, is Mexican food, and you are making me want tacos.
I think that's not a very smart question.
Okay, does everybody want to see? Because I know you all are going to agree. Don't you really wish?
Let him ask you more questions. He's ugly.
Yeah. Don't you really wish that Zelensky could negotiate with Trump the way I'm sure he wants to?
You suck!
Shut up, you bloated moron.
Oh God, I'd love to see that in real life.
I keep going back. I keep going back to the fact that we've got to stop blaming Trump. Trump is a symptom.
Yeah.
He's not the real problem. And that's what we in this country need to address is the real problem.
Yeah.
Is our emerging oligarchic class that wants to have us mirror what's going on in Russia.
Yeah. Really. It's the systems. It's these competing systems. We have the system of democracy and free enterprise and some sort of social equality versus what's really a backward system of 18th, 19th century oligarchy and feudalism, essentially. That's
Techno-feudalism. That's the new wave, man.
That's what's trying to raise its head, and and they're trying to divide us into East Asia, Eurasia, and what's the ones that are always at war with each other?
Oh yeah, Oceania.
Oceania, yeah, they're trying to carve up the world like it's Age of Empires.
Yeah,
and I think
it is Orwell's 1984. Yeah. That's what that strategy is trying to entrench, is a three-sided view of the world, and everybody has a share of influence.
I just really think
wars to keep everybody in power.
This is why I just really think that video games are such a benefit to humanity. Because if Putin had just been able to play like Age of Empires or Total War, or hell, even Civilization, he could have gotten this all out of his system. You can take over the world 1,000 times if you want. Just, it's much easier.
True. So true.
And
at much less cost.
Yeah.
Practically free.
If you're not a member of our Discord, join it. Be a member of it, because in our general chat, I just posted this one.
You suck.
So y'all can download it and have fun online with it too.
Yeah. So I don't know if viewers have any more questions. But I noticed there was one viewer, I can't remember which one, had a question about development time from like that's going on here in Ukraine, from like conception to implementation. Like how long does it take here to somebody comes up with a crazy idea and we do it? Yeah. I mean, in the lab. Sometimes it can be a couple of days, honestly, if we need, we need a solution to this now. Let's 3D print a new, name it, whatever, drop system, fiber optic mount, antenna repeater, and let's come up with it. We got it right now. I mean, 2 weeks, I would say, is pretty normal in the lab. Sometimes like this past week, I assigned my guys a task to come up with a solution for something, and they had it. They from knowing almost nothing about the subject to like learning everything they need to know to print out a prototype and order the materials. And it's been 4 days, and we'll probably have a prototype ready before I send them to training next week. So, but I mean, there are other things that are like 6 months, oh my God, it's taking forever. It varies, obviously, but 6 months is a long time in this war, though. 6 months is very long.
James, something comes to mind. I did see this bit of news. Now, it wasn't from a Ukrainian publishing company, but it said that Ukraine would be the first to get Starlink on everybody's phone.
Really?
Yeah, the first country. And I was like, that's now where I got the news from. It wasn't like anywhere where I usually go for news on Ukraine. So I was like,
I mean, I know that Starlink has been talking about rolling that out. So hey, I mean, I don't sniff a gift fish, you know what I'm saying? But maybe this is maybe this is Elon's way of apologizing, or since he's trying to kick the K, special K, maybe he's maybe he's come to his senses. Hey,
I don't think he came around. I think he still hates Ukraine. I think maybe it's possibly to control people even more. Ukrainians to get Starlink on their phone.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Ukraine has such an excellent internet infrastructure compared to any other country I've ever been to, Western country. I mean, putting Starlink on your phone, it's like spitting on a fish. Okay, the fish doesn't care, and it makes no difference anyway. So I mean, I have unlimited internet on my phone even in power outages, and I've got like 40 megabits speed, unlimited. I could stream this whole thing from my phone.
Easy.
Okay. And you know how much I pay for that? 470 grivnas a month, which is like $10.
What?
$10 a
Wow.
month. Yeah. I have at my home in the middle of Ukraine, which is in this like small town. I have gigabit internet coming into fiber coming into my home. It still works when the power goes out. A lot of times they have the fiber, because you don't need electricity. It's not like you can run it for, it's light, right? So it can run for kilometers.
Yeah.
As long as you have electricity at one end and you have like a power backup battery at the other side for the modem, you can run it, right? And you know how much I pay for that? 60 grivnas a month.
Wow.
That's literally like $1.50, less than $1.50.
You can't get coffee for that.
This is what I'm talking about. And also in my small little town, I have on my street, my Slavie, you probably know this phrase, my home is the edge of the village. My home is the edge of the village, okay? and there are 5 fiber optic internet service providers on my street available at any time. Yeah. And I can have dual SIMs. I could get, one provider goes out because there's a power outage, I can switch over to the other. If really. By the way, if I do get bombed, if I do suddenly lose power, my battery backup system is currently at my other laboratory. So it is possible here that I might, don't worry, I haven't died if my screen goes black. It does happen here, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
obviously there's something seriously wrong with this because some billionaire is not making another $1 billion.
Yeah. Good one.
Well, here's the thing. Ukraine has real competition. It has a real competitive economy in at least in this regard. And unlike in the United States, where we have basically 3 internet service providers, okay, for the whole country, and they have an effective monopoly, and they can charge whatever they want and get whatever service they want to provide, which is mostly crap. So
just to be clear, that's 3 internet providers for major urban areas. If you live in a rural area like me, you get 1.
Yeah.
With the nearest technician, if there's a problem for our area, living in freaking Oregon. So it's a 4-hour drive. So they wait until everything's gone to hell.
Right.
Then they'll pay for him to come up and do the work.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the middle of this war, I've never had to wait more than a couple of days to have my internet worked on, honestly, in my little hometown. And here it's like, it's instantly. Last week there was some problem with my modem. I don't call them because my Ukrainian is not good enough, and usually they don't have. So I just drove down to the local internet service provider office here in this town, very close to the front lines, and just said, "Hey, my modem's not working." Brought it to literally handed it physically to the engineer. He took it back, redid the firmware or something, and gave it right back to me, and it worked just fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
I live in a town of 30,000, and there's not even an office for the internet service providers for any of them in our town. They just don't even exist.
Yeah, there's 3 here in this town that's basically under siege all the time.
Yeah.
So, and they're
Crazy.
still like,
Yeah.
And has a population of what?
Well, my town,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Couple thousand or so.
Yeah, maybe something. Yeah, something like that.
Crazy.
But yeah.
So much
I live
better.
in an area where I've got roughly 30, 40,000 people in the local area. And that's the kind of internet we're getting as compared to what he's getting for maybe 5,000 people. In his town.
It's insanity, man. We get so
America
screwed.
is late stage capitalism. It's all about the oligarchs making shit tons of money and the rest of us going to hell in a handbasket.
Up here in my little mountain town, it cost me $140 Canadian to get a fiber optic connection that's good and strong for streaming and whatnot. It's just it's like every time I pay the bill, I feel like I just got out of the proctologist's office, you know? But anyway, yeah, where to and what next here?
Yeah. I'm open to any questions you guys have.
Oh, good call.
We
Good
do.
call.
We do. We do have a question, not for James, but overall, from Johnny. No reply from Erdogan. Orsia droned a Turkey ship. So this is what happened. Well, Russia put a ballistic missile into a Turkish ship in the Black Sea, and it was carrying Ukrainian goods. That's what it was carrying. And unfortunately, the reply from Erdogan was extremely weak rather than mid. I was expecting more coming from Erdogan, but I think the next day Putin and Erdogan met, and yeah, I don't know. I think Putin may have gotten to Erdogan as well. What do you guys think about this?
Erdogan has been trying to make deals and arrangements with Russia. At the same time, he also makes a lot of negative statements about them. He's playing an interesting double game here. He wants to remain part of NATO and wants, hopefully to get Turkey into the EU.
Right.
But at the same time, he wants Turkey to become kind of a regional Levantine hegemon. So they feel that the Caucasus region and like Syria and Lebanon and everything, that should fall under their old Ottoman style rule. They should be the ones dictating what goes on there.
Another empire coming.
Yeah, no,
coming
he wants to build another empire.
Yeah.
Well, it's relativism, cultural relativism, and that I hate the term political realism because it's so far from realistic. But that's the term that they're using, which is that values don't matter. Moral values don't matter. Countries don't stand for anything; they only have interests, right? And that's the so Erdogan has been trying to play both sides against the middle, but honestly, that's the geopolitical position that Turkey is in and has been historically for
since the founding of the republic, probably before.
yeah, since they took Byzantium, pretty much.
Yeah, good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Turkey, they don't want Russia in the Black Sea, though. They can't stand Russia with their ships. So that's why they support Ukraine, and they want Ukraine to get Crimea back. So that's why I'm kind of okay with Turkey. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still. I don't know. Maybe we might still see some kind of retaliation, maybe even through Ukraine from Turkey. Hopefully,
Turkey's in a tough position because if they want to claim the need to retaliate, then it gets in this weird situation where they're doing hostile actions against Russia, which means if Russia retaliates against them, they can't invoke Article 5 because they precipitated the conflict.
Okay, that does help tie up some of the weirdness of the situation then.
yeah, it does.
I'm just looking at the time here, and I think we've got about 10 minutes here. So should we throw a few more questions at James and the panel? And
somebody asked me about how's the weather. It's finally getting a bit nipply here. I had 2 holes in my t-shirt this morning.
You're feeling that, were you?
Yeah, and had to go for a long drive to get my MRI today on my foot, And like,
well, see, unlike the orange shit gibbon, when you get an MRI, you know what part of the body they did it to you on. You see, some people can pull this off. Keep going.
yeah. So it was like it was like slush, So, and there was mud, muddy slush, bad roads everywhere, and big, huge military trucks throwing everything up on our windshield, driving through puddles, and then it would freeze on the windshield. And at one point, we're like, we can't even see out of the front of this car. We had to stop, and I go to with the gas station squeegee and the squeegee's frozen, and it's like, oh, great. Okay.
It sounds like Northern Ontario, living in Sudbury or something, right? You open the door and there's snow 4 feet up, and yet it was nice out the day before, right?
Yeah. No, we did have snow today. It's not laying on the ground or anything. It's not sticking. It's kind of in that weird in between place. It's not. It's actually like, I have a friend in Philadelphia, another one in Iowa, and it's warmer here than there.
Yeah. We're it's like December 13th, and I'm in Canada, and it's 12 degrees Celsius. I have a very unique little place where we live. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, technically it's a desert, right? It's a really strange little place. Who knew that Canada had a desert, right?
Yeah.
James, got another question for you from Pepper Nation. Not giving away any specifics, but have any good ways been found to disrupt fiber optic drones apart from cutting the fiber?
Yeah, unfortunately, fiber optic drones, they're not a foolproof thing. Fiber optic drones come with their whole own set of problems. In fact, a lot of times fiber optic drones disrupt themselves. That's one way of putting it. The fiber falls out, but it can the wind can blow it around, blow it up on top of your rotors. If you're trying to back up, sometimes the fiber doesn't pull correctly out of the spool, and the fiber, it's very tough in this direction, but if you try to fold it, it goes fine until it reaches a certain point, and then it snaps, right? So you can have the fiber, for example, a lot of times you have to follow some geographical elements, right? So you're flying along a tree line. Well, the fiber is falling onto the tree branches, okay? And you might have to take a circuitous route. You might even have to go in circles sometimes. The tree branches are blowing in the wind, for example, a little bit, swaying a little, and they themselves can, the fiber can get wrapped up, all kinds of crazy things. Aside from just cutting the fiber, with scissors, they, like I said, they come with their own set of problems. Now, as far as active defense against them, that's another
flying scissors. I mean,
flying scissors.
What you know those little handheld things for trimming like a shrub or whatever, you can have one of those on a drone, just cutting through them, right?
It's interesting you should say, because recently there was published a video of somebody somewhere in Ukraine, some troops somewhere in Ukraine, developed basically concertina wire that's strung across how many, hundreds of meters, between two gizmos, let's say, that just move the concertina wire back and forth or spin it, and that's enough to potentially cut the fiber, because the fiber has to eventually fall to the ground, and then it can be pretty easily broken. But that's a static defense across a line, so you have to know where the fiber drone is going to come frequently, and then if the fiber flying the drone pilot knows that those are there, then they're going to avoid that area. So it's more of an area denial system, but those, I think we will start to see those a lot more. It is kind of like exactly what you described,
Yeah.
just
It-
on
it-
a massive scale.
Yeah.
It's a modern adaptation of the old barrage balloon concept.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Are those deployed by Russia or Ukraine? The wire that you described.
I think they're starting to be deployed on both sides now. Actually,
Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. The Russians steal ideas from us all the time. I mean, we're sending them our drones, and a certain percentage of those drones fail for some reason. And then some Russian picks them up and says, oh, look at what the Ukrainians are doing. And we do
Yeah.
the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
I got a good analogy for this is like it's like a spike strip in the air. You know?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, we got a little bit more time. We can just squeeze a few more in and then we'll say our thanks and all that stuff.
Absolutely. We have a question from Sally Luce.
Hey,
Asking,
Sally.
I don't know how they can include Ukrainian voters in other countries, all active duty soldiers at the front. What about the Ukrainian POWs, those in occupied territories? They're citizens too.
Yeah, see, this is another problem that we didn't even discuss, with regards to voting, and Ukrainians know it. So,
Yeah. Too many holes, man. Great one, Sally. That was a good one.
good to hear from you.
One of the claims that people have made is that, the United States never had to forego elections during the First World War, the Second World War, Vietnam or Korean, etc. Yeah, but we have a whole hell of a lot more robust logistics organization that can support that kind of thing. And we did so at great cost. People don't realize that, but it costs a lot to make sure all those ballots got safely to the soldiers at front and then collect them and bring them home again and have them counted. It's you can't be forcing the American view onto other countries. It just doesn't translate well.
Is that even true? I thought that Franklin Delano Roosevelt was like 4 terms in power and that's because of the World War II. Is that, did they actually hold elections at that time?
Yes, they did hold the elections. And immediately after FDR passed, that's when they passed the amendment that said, nope, you can't have more than 2 terms as president.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Well, remember, America wasn't being invaded at the time. Okay. Great Britain did not have elections because they were actively, very
They were a war zone.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I just want to throw in here because we don't have much time. Somebody asked a really good question, Captain Obvious.
Love
he
that.
says, another question for James. Are discoveries, new developments shared between other brigades, or is there a platform for sharing? Wouldn't surprise me if they do new tech. Sadly, no. This is a huge problem, I would dare say. Although some Ukrainians feel that it's a benefit. Okay, so there's a huge, massive spirit of competition, not just between brigades, but between battalions within the brigades, even within my own, which can be incredibly frustrating. But it's also like competition: who can do the best, who can develop it the fastest, and it can be very frustrating. Nobody wants to share anything, Now that might not be true in every single brigade or battalion. Maybe there are some, maybe like the unmanned systems forces or something, but I haven't heard of it.
Right.
It would be really nice if there was a platform for sharing new tech besides Brave One. I mean, internally within all of the drone labs.
I can help with that. I very much have a couple of ideas. It would be safe, secure, self-done, the whole 9 yards. And we'll have to chat.
Yeah, for sure. The primary barrier, though, is the cultural traditions of Ukraine of just like competition, and you're not going to take my Lucky Charms.
That's natural in a lot of areas of humanity. When you're striving and creating and bringing something new and stuff, man, it's your baby, right?
Yep. Even within my own laboratory, sometimes I have to be like, okay, listen, guys, we're all working together here.
Yeah.
We have to share information,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. We should give a quick little thanks to contributors and donators and everybody from today, because I think that's a very good thing to do. In our first part of the show, because it's a two-parter thing now, it's a YouTube thing. Just play along. We had Niles Knudsen giving out 10 Chills memberships. We had Johnny Nedregard, Yvonne Way, Super Chat, Matt, Tom Gang, DK is a new subscriber. Welcome, welcome. We had Tyler Dowdy in with a donation as well. So big shout and thanks to everybody there. On the Shills team here, we got Mexi Girl on the account, Shayna Caldwell, Jose, Chris Lundy, Liam Wakefield, Janine the Mercenary moderator, and Super Chat Matt. We got to get our thanks in. Thanks, everybody. Slavie?
Yeah, thanks so much to SSW Custom Sewing for sending a super chat saying Ukraine support. West Coast is the best coast.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
baby.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also a moderator of the channel.
Awesome. Awesome. So, want to take us around and everybody can have their farewells?
Absolutely. Johnny, let's start with you. Any final thoughts?
The Economist reported that Russia lost 1% of its men. It looks like Russia is approaching its tipping point. People like James and armed forces of Ukraine have been doing their tedious, tireless work all these years, and it's showing. We have something to show. All of us, everybody is its own private battlefront. Donate to people like James or James personally. Support Ukraine, and Russia will be defeated.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Next up, Commander McMillan. Any final thoughts?
Not really. The usual admonition that please continue to correspond with your elected officials. Make sure they know that Ukraine is important to you. We know this is working even with red people, because it's putting pressure on the White House to have to make statements to keep that stuff under control. So
Absolutely.
keep pushing.
No matter what side of the political spectrum in America you are on, it all makes a difference.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Well said, Commander.
Yeah. James, your final thoughts.
Hey, yeah. My final thoughts. So many. I mean, just going back to, if you would please help my laboratory. We desperately need more of these drones every single day. It makes an immediate and direct difference to our ability to defend Ukraine and take out more orcs. So, the point of today is really I want everybody to support our Azov International Battalion fundraiser. And it's also really important. I just want to, and Slavie, maybe you can chime in on this, or we can talk about it another time. A lot of Ukrainians, I find, just do not understand or know or recognize that's how many individual Westerners, and especially Americans, support and are willing to support Ukraine with their actual dollars, okay, with their actual income. And that is a really hard thing, especially in this Christmas time and the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of giving. It's a really hard thing for a lot of Ukrainians to understand. Mm-hmm. And it's been a hard thing for me to get even my Azov to understand. They understand, I would say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or clarify this, Slavie. You may have more insight into this than I do. They understand the idea of like states giving aid to Ukraine for various reasons, interests, or whatever. They can understand maybe kind of like NGOs, all right? But individuals sending money to Ukraine, they're not even aware.
Yeah.
They're not even aware that this has been happening the whole war. In the same way that most Ukrainians are not aware that there are thousands and thousands of foreigners here fighting in Ukraine for almost no money to help Ukraine. They're not aware of it. So I would just show Azov, okay, that you care about Ukraine and that you're willing to throw down for it. And if you click on the whyukraine.com page and every cent that goes in there wakes up my whole command chain to the idea that, oh my gosh, people really do want to help us, you know, and not in exchange for some sort of economic free zone or stealing our oil or our coal or whatever. You know, they support us because they support what we're fighting for and what we believe in. And it's a hard concept. But they won't believe it until somebody shows them.
Yeah. Well, let's show them.
Ukraine is the new home of the brave, land of the free.
Yeah,
you got it. Exactly.
And Americans understand that, and I gotta say, there's more support for Ukraine right now in America than there was in 2022.
Seriously.
Yeah, there is more, and people want to help. And actually, there's even more percentage of Americans that actually just straight up hate Russia.
Yeah.
I need to have you talk to my commander and my commander's commander.
We're really short on time, guys. Sorry. You want to show support? Stephen Walsh in the chat. $65 direct donation in Slavie Ukraine. That's how it's done, folks. And we're sending that right over after the show. So awesome. Thank you, Stephen Walsh. Big hitter as always, man. Love it. So yes, we did our thanks to our team and everything. And it's thanks to you guys for watching and joining us. And Slavie gets the last word as we get the heck out of here.
All right. Well, a new episode of SlavaCast will drop next week, so look out for that. There will be a surprise guest, and I'll reveal the guest tomorrow for the members, so look out for that. But I just want to say that the news is getting darker and darker, not because Ukraine is losing, but because we're watching powerful people test a dangerous idea. The truth is negotiable, and that murder can be rewarded through appeasement. If the price is convenient, let me be very clear. Ukraine is not asking the world to feel sorry for it. Ukraine is showing the world what courage looks like, with fewer resources, fewer guarantees, and more risk than any democracy should ever be forced to carry alone.
Amen.
Russia is not unstoppable. Russia is not invincible. Russia is not winning. Russia is cracking economically, militarily, politically, and psychologically. You can see it in what they lie about. You can see it in what they deny. You can see it in what they're terrified to admit. Pressure works. Sanctions work. When they're real, isolation works. When it's enforced. And Ukraine's precision pressure, the kind that hits the war machine directly, works because it forces Putin into the only place he can't survive. Reality. This war is not a spectator sport. Russia already chose war, not just tanks and troops, but hybrid war, economic war, information war, cyber war, and terror through drones, missiles, sabotage, and intimidation. This war does not ask for your ideology. It doesn't care if you're anti-war. It doesn't care who you voted for, right, left, or purple. A missile doesn't check your politics. A drone doesn't check your intentions. And hybrid war doesn't spare collaborators or useful idiots. So what do? We stop treating Ukraine like a news story and start treating it like the front line of our own security. Support Ukraine relentlessly. We got James here. Please support James and the cause, not just emotionally, but strategically. Share the truth loudly. Share James's website. That's the best you can do. Social currency goes a long way.
I'm right.
Because silence is oxygen for propaganda. Pressure your elected officials every single week. call your senators, call your representative, demand military support for Ukraine, demand real enforcement on sanctions, demand the seizure and use of frozen Russian assets for Ukraine's defense, and demand consequences for anyone helping Russia evade them. Refuse silence because history doesn't punish the loud liars first. It punishes the quiet bystanders. Thank you so much to the panel for speaking the truth. Thank you, James, for being here. And I would love to see you more on channel Yarochenko. Sure, we can work something out with
great.
Asa. Yeah, thank you so much to the mods. Week after week, you guys show up and make sure the chat is clean and also fun to read. Thank you to the viewers, the defenders of truth, and thank you for supporting the channels, for all your super chats and memberships. Please like the stream, subscribe, share this out, and if you're here for Ukraine, don't just watch, act. If you're not watching history anymore, we are inside it. And this moment will remember who stood and who looked away. So be fierce with your values, be brave like Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.
Herom Slava.
Героям слава.
It's over. Go home. Go.